What up, guys? It's Sean here from Obsidian Printhaus. I am the co-founder, and today we're pretty much gonna give you a step-by-step on how to get started in your own printing business. Now, I know you're saying, why would a printing business give you the secrets to start your own business and become our competitor? Well, ultimately, here at Obsidian Printhaus, our main goal is to pretty much provide everybody with the knowledge and the power that they can start their own business and start their own avenue of printing. I've been doing this for over 13 years now, and I pretty much found that either you scale yourself to a corporate level where you only deal with the big guys, or you niche and you stay down and you stick to the small guys. And that's what we chose to do here at Obsidian. We care about the small guy. We care about, all of our clients on an equal level and pretty much setting them up for success. So what we're going to go through today is pretty much a little bit of how I got started in the industry, and kind of give you a little breakdown of what not to do, because I'll be totally honest, I did it the hard way. Now, I started printing, as I said, over 13 years ago, when I was in high school pretty much. I wanted to start a clothing line with one of my good friends, and at that time, digital printing existed, but the barrier to entry was very high at the time, because a lot of the technology was new, and ultimately we didn't have what we have today. So we started with the good old traditional method of screen printing. So what we did, we went straight to the internet, and Amazon wasn't really a thing. It was a thing, but they weren't selling screen printing equipment. So we had found an American company that supplied starter screen print setups and kits, and we ended up purchasing that. I think it was about $200 or $300, and we split it 50-50 with some money that we had saved, and we got our equipment, and we pretty much went to Walmart and just grabbed some random blanks and started our own brand in high school and sold these people at a crazy overpriced margin. We did not make a lot of money. I don't think we made much money. I didn't even think we made the money back for the equipment, but it got us started. And through that, eventually I met somebody who had a photo studio, and they also printed shirts on the side. So I had he had his shop right beside my cousin's tattoo shop, and I would go in periodically and see what they were doing, and I would see him weeding this vinyl material, and I'm like, what are you doing? Are you making stickers? And he's like, no, these are for t-shirts. I'm like, how does this press onto a t-shirt? And that's where I got my first, experience with HTV vinyl. As you'll learn, there are two different types of vinyls. There's several different types of vinyl, but mainly you have your HTV that adheres to fabrics, and then you have your adhesive that would pretty much, it's like a sticker that sticks to most substrates. So he kind of gave me a little bit of a rundown on that, and that's when I was like, okay, I got to get my hands on one of these machines to cut the vinyl. So I did my little bit of research, and I came across a company called Sign Supply, who still exists till today. Shout out to Sign Supply. They're here in Mississauga, and at the time they had a very small shop. It was, it was very, very much so a mom and pop printing supplier, and they had a little bit of options as far as what you can purchase to get started. So I purchased this one starter kit. It came with a heat press, a silhouette vinyl cutter, and a couple rolls of vinyl, and some smaller accessories. And that pretty much got me started on experimenting with printing with HTV, which stands for heat transfer vinyl. And I started going to town, started printing on all types of random stuff, started ruining a bunch of clothes. My parents were like, what are you wearing? And here I'm thinking of being a fashion designer. But nonetheless, I was able to start my business. That was when I started my first business, which was RMS Custom Printing. And from there, I was able to advertise on platforms such as Kijiji, and I think there was a couple other ones, but they don't exist anymore. Kijiji, do not use Kijiji. It is not worth it anymore. But I got most of my clientele off of Kijiji, and pretty much I was on my way to starting my custom printing business. Now it's funny because I did try to market myself as a custom printing business, but all I really printed was t-shirts. And people would come to me with all types of requests. I'm like, no, I can't do that, sorry. So I pretty much realized, I'm like, okay, I can't do everything that everybody asking for. And the cost of entry to get into screen printing, which at the time was one of the few ways that you can print multicolor images, it was just way too costly. You needed more space because those rigs are huge. And I was like, no, I can't do this. So I did a little bit more research, and I found this new method where you could buy these little paper transfers that have a film that you can print on inkjet printers, and you can print the image with a registration mark, and you feed that into your cutter, and it would cut around the image, and then you could put that either on a transfer tape or just peel it off and then heat press it onto a garment. And if you obviously have a inkjet printer, you do know that ink runs out very quickly. So you could imagine I'm doing full color prints on t-shirts, and the ink is running out, and at that time I was not calculating for my margins because I was running out of ink very quickly. And ultimately I realized, I'm like, this cannot sustain the business, and I cannot keep doing this. So again, back to the internet, and now we come around to understanding DTG, which stands for direct to garment. And at the time, there were numerous machines. Again, your Chinese made machines that you were able to find on like Alibaba and AliExpress, and I think DHgate and stuff. Timo didn't exist yet. So I was getting curious. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll purchase one. But then I was like, man, what if something goes wrong? I don't have any type of backup plan, and all my funds would run out there. So I had found a company called Stalls, very, very reputable company. One of the largest imprinting, I guess, equipment suppliers in Canada. I think they're also in America. But nonetheless, went to Stalls, and I got introduced to my first DTG printer, which was the Epson F2000 or 2100, and that changed the game. So I was able to print full colored images on t-shirts, expedite the process, and up my printing game. And that's when my business started to really make some numbers. I had grown it, and I was able to get a warehouse, and then start this whole thing. And I realized, I'm like, oh, this is phenomenal. Like, I can pretty much print anything that anybody wants. But then technology just started picking up pace, and you kind of fast forward to DTF, which is direct to film, and that became the DTG and screen printing killer. I knew a whole bunch of guys who were buying these Chinese machines, and they're like, dude, you can save so much money on the ink and yada yada yada. And I'm like, nah, nothing beats DTG, this is the best. At that time I had also traded in the Epson, and I got the Brother GTX. And so again, we were killing it. But people would come and they're like, oh, this guy's offering prints for this price and that price. And I'm like, how are these guys going so low now? Like, I'm pretty sure I have one of the top machines. And then boom, figuring out that everybody's using now this new DTF method. So now you get to today, which pretty much gets me started on how you can get started on your printing business, or your t-shirt printing business per se. The entry level right now is at its lowest. You could get a DTF printer literally for, you could get one of those Chinese ones off of Timo or Alibaba, AliExpress, whatever, for probably like $1,000. Is it gonna last? Probably not, but nonetheless, it'll get you in the gate. And then they have, I think, the Pro Colored, which is around like $4 or $5 grand. And then you can step into the realms of the X Tool, and if you want to go all out and you have the funds, then you can step into the realms of the Falcons, the Mamakis, and the larger wide format DTF printers. Again, the cost per print is almost cents, and you can pretty much get started right away. Now, is that the best option? Probably not. Your first thing that you're going to want to invest in is a heat press. Either way, no matter what it is, unless you're doing screen printing, you're going to have to transfer that image onto the shirt by heat. And a proper heat press can ultimately, it pretty much tells how long your prints are going to last. Because if it's not pressed properly, it doesn't matter what DTF prints you're using, a proper press makes all the difference. So invest in a good heat press. Now, I know that you're probably looking at the little Cricut handheld heat presses. Maybe you're looking at some on Amazon. It's okay, start off with those, right? But make that your first goal to get a good heat press, because a good heat press will last you years. We've had heat presses literally that I think I maybe still have from when we started the business. And ultimately, when we reinvest in new ones, I pass them off to other customers. Now you got your heat press. You got to find your supplier for your prints. Ultimately, if you're in the GTA area, choose Obsidian. We could be your supplier. Now, if you're finding this globally, then I'm pretty sure you have a local DTF supplier. Now, there's so many other websites that do supply DTF. I'm not going to name their names, but you can order DTFs from pretty much anywhere. But again, this comes down to your margins. What are you going to market your t-shirts and your prints for, right? Which brings us along to finding your t-shirt supplier. Now, blank suppliers for garments, they're in pretty much every major city in Canada. But your main ones you're going to be looking at is S&S, Sanmar, Canada Sportswear. If you want to get into the streetwear stuff, just like Hero, you might want to look up Justify. There's so many blank suppliers in the GTA that you can pretty much register with. Now, when I say register, yes, that brings up the aspect of registering your business, whether it's a corporation or a sole proprietor. Now, if you are saying, hey, you still got your full-time job and you're just doing this on the side, you don't want to register a business right now, then your best bet is to purchase from a third-party provider. Third-party providers will be websites such as Wardens, t-shirtblanks.ca. I think there's several of them. You can get them off of Amazon. Maybe you got a couple local guys like ourselves. We can help get you set up on some blanks and get started. So now you got your heat press. Now you got your blanks. Now you got your supplier if you're DTF and your prints. You got to make a name. Choose a good marketable name. It is very crucial that you stand out in this market because it's very saturated. Like I said, low cost entry means there's a lot of people starting and there's a lot of people doing it on the side. And you're probably going to think, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to do sportswear? Do I want to do streetwear? Do I want to do corporate merch? Do I want to do personalized gifts? You probably want to do it all. Now, with DTF, you can do most of it, but there is a limit to certain things like sports apparel, the application methods and certain things. They do call for maybe some different methods. But ultimately with DTF, you can pretty much hit every, niche that you would want to go down. So again, market yourself well. Create a catchy name. Look for free avenues you can advertise yourself. Facebook Marketplace, word of mouth, friends and families. Print yourself some business cards and get out there, right? Even if you just start with something simple as some, designs for yourself, you could be your own walking marketing material, right? Ultimately, it's all up to you, right? How you market yourself at the starting point is going to set a precedent for how you carry your business in the future. So does that mean going and spending a bunch of money on a whole branding entity and such? You probably don't need to do that right now, but think about it, put some thought into it. Ultimately, people do judge you upon the first things that they see. So portfolio, again, like I said, print yourself a bunch of stuff, allow people to see exactly what you're printing and the materials, and pretty much that you can fulfill their orders when needed. Now that brings up the aspect of graphic designing. Now, am I saying go and take a graphic designing course? Probably you don't need to do that. If you would like to and your heart desires it, by all means. If you already are a graphic designer, you're getting into this, then you have a head start. But you really don't need to know full-on graphic designing. Now, if you have a proper DTF supplier, they will kind of walk you through what exactly to do. Again, with AI and the new programs these days, ultimately anything is possible. You can get high resolution images and pictures very easily, and it makes the process a lot easier as far as you're getting your perfect final product, right? Again, Obsidian will do that for you. We'll walk you through step by step, ensure that all your prints are the way that you want them to turn out, and you get a good final product, right? So you got everything now that you need, and that's it. You pretty much you're set. You're ready to go. You're ready to start your business, your t-shirt printing business, and get your clientele. Now, I know you might get overzealous, and you might start thinking, man, I want to do this, I want to do that, let me slap some money on marketing and such. My best suggestion is use free organic advertising. You stay small enough, long enough, you'll be big enough soon enough. Use every avenue possible. Market yourself on Facebook Marketplace, use your TikTok, use Instagram, use Pinterest. There's so many free websites that you can advertise your business on. You can ultimately make yourself, I guess, a free Google listing if you wanted to. I know there's a little bit of a limit as what you can do there, but use everything free possible before you start dumping money on ads. We are in a day and age where marketing and advertising is very tricky, and your money can go to waste very quickly. So we'll save that for a whole other video. We got so much more we could dive into. We got so many other platforms that you can dive into. But I hope that this is enough to get you started. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave anything in the comments. We'll answer it all. If this answered all your questions and you're ready to get started, please give us a shout. Choose Obsidian as your DTF supplier, and we'll be more than happy to serve you. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to us so you can see some more of our future content. And that's it.